Hello, dreamer. Where are you listening from tonight? A quiet city window, a starlit village roof, or a room where the world finally feels quiet? Wherever you are, I'm glad you're here. Let's leave the clocks behind for a little while. Close your eyes and ask yourself something quietly. What is time, really? If we can never touch it, never see it, only feel it slipping gently through our fingers. Like sleep, maybe. Time isn't something we move through, maybe. It's something that moves through us. A dream we never wake from. A story the universe keeps whispering, just to see if we'll listen. Tonight, we're going to float through that question, not with answers that clang like metal, but with thoughts that drift like feathers in the dark. We'll wander through the ticking illusion. Why time seems to flow, why we remember the past but not the future, and what physics quietly suggests about the way our minds build this dream we call now. So lie back, let your breath slow down, let the world outside the window dissolve, and let's travel, not through space, but through wonder. If you find yourself drifting away before we're done, that's okay. The story will wait. And if this gentle journey brings you peace, you're always welcome to subscribe or share this little dream with someone who needs a softer night. Now, close your eyes, let go of the ticking world, and let's begin. Have you ever felt time wash over you? Like water brushing past your skin, even when you're standing still. This chapter drifts with you into the quiet illusion of motion, where clocks tick, but only your body truly moves. You're lying still now, but beneath your stillness, something flows. Your thoughts move like currents. Your breath rises, falls, gentle waves against the shore of your ribs. And somewhere deeper, something quieter still, is drifting. Time, you don't feel it the way you feel touch or wind. You don't hear it like footsteps or heartbeat. But it moves, always. It's strange, isn't it? To know that you are carried by something you cannot see, cannot pause, cannot escape. Like floating on a raft down a river whose banks blur past in silence. Somewhere, a clock ticks. Somewhere else, a leaf turns brown. A shadow lengthens. A star burns a little dimmer. These are the ripples of time, visible only in what it leaves behind. But you are not a bystander to time. You are immersed in it. Every part of you rides its invisible current. Even now, as you lie still, your body is moving through space. The earth spins gently beneath you, 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. Your planet orbits the sun, and the sun orbits the center of the galaxy, and the galaxy itself drifts among countless others, stars like grains in an unseen tide. Yet you feel still. Your mind tells you, I am here, unmoving. But physics whispers, no, you are always in motion. Time is not still water, it is a river, and you are inside it. Your skin renews. Your blood cells live their brief, pulsing lives. Your bones remember gravity. Even your memories, they shift gently when recalled, like pebbles rearranged by a slow current, dot and clocks. They try to measure this river. But no clock shows you time. It only shows you change. The way the hands move is not time passing. It is movement made visible. Time hides beneath that motion, like the silence beneath a song. Think of a flower. Blooming, you could speed it up on film, watch it open in seconds, or slow it down, make a hummingbird's wings float like falling feathers. Does time change, or only your lens? The truth is, you never see time directly. You see motion, you see transformation. You see yourself aging, but not time itself. Like watching wind through the trees, but never catching the wind. This is the illusion. You imagine time as a line, past behind, future ahead, but no one's ever touched yesterday. No one's ever visited tomorrow. Only now exists. And even now is always slipping through your grasp. That's why we chase schedules. Why we count minutes. Why we tell ourselves we're late. As if we could ever be outside the river. But you can't stand apart from time. Just as you can't step outside your own breath, you live inside it. Your every moment is soaked in it. So tonight, instead of resisting, you float. Let the ticking dissolve. Let the river carry you, not to a destination, but deeper inward. This river has no banks, no map, no beginning you remember, no clear end you can reach. You are born into its flow, and every cell in you remembers how to move. It's not just you. Even particles, the smallest ones we know, carry little vibrations, tiny ticks of rhythm. An electron doesn't age, but it still dances in patterns that only make sense within time's frame. And still, no one knows why time flows at all, why it seems to move forward, why we remember what came before but not what comes next, why you feel yourself moving, when maybe nothing really moves at all. Some physicists think time is an illusion, that all moments already exist, past, present, future, side by side, like pages in a book you can only read in order. But your body, your heartbeat, your thoughts, as they drift right now, they say otherwise. They say, time moves through you, or maybe, you move through it. Perhaps there is no difference, so lie there, still as you can, and notice how even stillness feels like motion, not outside your body, but within it, as if you are being gently rocked by something much older than you. This is the illusion, not of time itself, but of how you feel it, a lullaby made of gravity and change, light and memory, breath and decay. And if time is a river, then your body is a boat, woven from stardust and atoms, drifting through a cosmos that never stops whispering, now, now, now. And even as you close your eyes, as the world softens, as your breath slows, you don't stop drifting. You only learn to float more gently, and in the stillness that follows, a new question begins to rise. If time carries you forward, what is it, exactly, that keeps the rhythm inside you? What is the clock, hidden in your chest? Inside you, tiny rhythms beat without pause. Your heart, your breath, your cells repairing in silence. You don't read time, you become it. We explore how your body measures time, without ever seeing it, and why your inner clocks never fully agree. You don't need a watch to know time is passing. You feel it. From within, the gentle drum of your heart, the rise and fall of your chest, the drowsy tug of sleep when night returns. These are your first clocks, not made of gears or glowing numbers, but of rhythm, of chemistry, of deep, ancient cycles carved quietly into your body, somewhere inside you. A cluster of neurons hums beneath your brain's surface, not thinking, not speaking, just keeping track. This is your circadian clock. It doesn't tick or chime. It pulses like a tide, rising and falling in your blood, guiding your hunger, your temperature, your dreams. You don't command it. You are it. This internal timekeeper is older than words, older than memory. It is written into the DNA of plants, of insects, of fish in the deep dark sea. Even cells, alone in a petri dish, can follow time's rhythm, waking and sleeping without sunlight at all. So where does this rhythm come from? Outside you, the sun rises, the light shifts, photons touch the back of your eyes and whisper, now is day. As the light fades, your brain begins to dim the world inside, releasing melatonin, the chemical hush that prepares you for dreams. This, too, is a kind of clock, a dialogue between your body and the sky. A conversation written in light, but not all your clocks agree. Your heart has its own rhythm. A soft percussion you can feel in your chest if you lie very still. It beats not in minutes, but in moments, speeding up when you worry, slowing when you sigh. It answers to emotion, to motion, to thought. It does not care what the sun is doing. It listens to you. Then there are the clocks inside your cells, each one ticking off a lifespan, dividing, repairing, growing old. Inside every strand of DNA, tiny caps called telomeres wear down with each division, like the ends of shoelaces unraveling. Time, measured not in hours, but in how many times a cell has dared to begin again. Even your digestion follows its own time. Your organs wait for food, wake up for breakfast, slow down by night. They expect a rhythm, and when that rhythm breaks, when you eat at midnight or sleep through noon, your body stumbles through fog, unsure of where it is in time. That's jet lag, or insomnia, or that hollow ache you feel after too many late nights. Not confusion, just misaligned clocks, ticking out of sync. And so, you carry not one clock, but many. A constellation of rhythms, some guided by sunlight, others by memory, some by movement, some by stillness. And they don't always agree, but still, you live inside their quiet symphony. Think of how your body feels just before waking, that odd sensation of returning from somewhere. Your mind can't quite name. Your internal clock, long before alarms, knows when dawn is near. Consider how, after many nights of rest, at the same hour, you begin to feel sleepy, not because a clock told you so, but because your chemistry whispered it. You are not simply living through time. You are echoing it, mimicking its movement in your breath and blood. And even as you lie in bed, your heart does not stop. Your lungs do not wait. Your neurons fire like tiny lightning bolts, scheduling the dream that waits just past waking. So what happens when these clocks fall out of sync? Shift workers, astronauts, even long-distance travelers feel the friction of internal time misaligned with the outside world. It's like walking through a mirror. Everything feels familiar, but nothing moves the way it should. Science calls this desynchronization, but to you, it simply feels like confusion, like your body doesn't quite believe the time you've told it. And still, slowly, your clocks adjust. You recalibrate, you realign with the sky, and the world inside you learns to tick again in harmony. It's beautiful, really, how your body listens to light and silence, to food and feeling, to love and loss and laughter. All of these are timekeepers, because time, to you, is not just a number on a screen. It is a hunger at a certain hour, a yawn as the sun sets, a surge of memory when a song plays from long ago. You do not need to understand the mechanics to feel the rhythm. Tonight, as you drift, your inner clocks will continue their quiet work, realigning, rebalancing, repeating. You are always changing, but always returning to rhythm. And tomorrow, you will wake to a new morning, not because a clock told you to, but because the time inside you decided it was so. But what is now, exactly? And why does it slip through your grasp even as you try to hold it? That's where we go next. Into the fleeting, flickering moment you call the present. You try to hold now, but it slides between thoughts like a breeze through fingers. Why is the present always slipping? And what does it mean that now may not even exist? Tonight, we rest inside that paradox. Try to catch it, this moment, the one you're in. Not the one just past. Not the one coming next. This one. But even as you notice it, it's already gone. Like a drop of rain sliding down glass. Like breath leaving your lungs. You call it now. But what is it, really? A flash of awareness. A point in time with no width, no weight, no length. A tightrope strung between memory and imagination. Scientists and poets alike have tried to define the present, but it behaves like light, part wave, part particle, part real, part illusion. To your mind, it feels simple. You are here. You are listening now. Your thoughts are moving in this moment. But peel back the layers, and the truth blurs. Your brain is not a perfect mirror. It delays. The signals from your eyes take time to process. Sound, touch, movement, they all arrive slightly out of sync. Milliseconds apart, yet your brain, like a gentle conductor, weaves them into a single melody called now. In reality, you're always living a little behind. Like watching a star whose light left ages ago. Like remembering the taste of a fruit just as it disappears. The moment you experience is already memory. And yet, it feels real. It feels immediate. That's the illusion your mind maintains, a seamless playback. A dream edited in real time so that nothing feels out of place. Think of it like watching a film. You don't see the gaps between the frames. You see movement, fluid, whole. Your mind does the same with time, smoothing over the breaks, hiding the edits. But ask a physicist about the present, and the answers grow even stranger. They might tell you, there is no universal now. No shared, objective moment ticking across the cosmos, each observer, moving at a different speed or sitting in a different gravity well, experiences time differently. Your now is not the same as a now on the moon or on a star light years away. Einstein showed us that time and space are flexible, not fixed, not absolute. So what you call the present may be just one sliver of a much broader tapestry. That tapestry, all of time, all at once, might already exist, like a scroll unfurled in both directions, even if you can only read one line at a time. So, when you say this moment, you're really describing your place in the story, not the whole truth of time. But maybe that's the beauty of it, that you only ever live in one line. And that line feels like everything. You cannot step into the past. You cannot leap into the future. But here, right here, your mind writes a small sentence, one breath at a time. Some philosophers believe the present is only meaningful because you remember what came before and because you imagine what could come next. Without memory or anticipation, now would lose its shape, a sound without an echo. So the present becomes a balance between holding on and letting go. Between what just was, and what hasn't yet become. Close your eyes for a moment. Listen to your breath. Feel how it fills and empties, a wave cresting and receding. This is your present. Not a frozen dot in time, but a rhythm, a motion. And just like that, it changes. The more you try to hold it, the more it slips through, like trying to remember the exact second you fell asleep. That's because now is not a thing. It's a transition, a motion, a flickering pulse between what you once were and what you're about to become. And yet, even knowing this, even knowing it may be an illusion, you still long for presence. You still want to feel rooted in this. That longing is human. It is ancient. It is a kind of love, a desire to feel alive in the moment, no matter how fleeting. So maybe you stop trying to catch now like a butterfly. Maybe instead you feel it brush past you. Soft, brief, mysterious. Not to possess it, but to witness it. And maybe that's enough. Tonight, as you rest, your mind may wander into memory, into dreams, into the future. Let it. That too is part of being here, and when you wake, you'll return to a new moment that feels just as real, just as delicate, just as unknowable. But why is it that you remember the past, and not the future? What secret does memory hold that makes time flow in only one direction? Your past is not behind you. It lives curled inside your brain, shaped and reshaped like soft clay in your sleep. We explore how memory builds the illusion of time, and why forgetting may be its truest keeper. You remember, not everything, not always clearly, but still, you remember a voice, a scent, a hallway flooded with golden light, moments that no longer exist, and yet feel alive within you. Memory is not a box you open. It is not a recording waiting on a shelf. It is a living process, fragile and ever-changing, like breath fogging a mirror. And it is here in this quiet act of remembering that your sense of time begins. You think of time as something outside of you, something measured in clocks and calendars. But time, for you, begins in memory, because, without remembering before, there would be no way to feel after. Imagine waking each morning with no memory, no name, no shape to your story. Time would blur. The present would stretch endlessly unchained, unfamiliar, so your memories become anchors. They tether you to a timeline. They build the illusion of a past flowing into a present. But memory isn't a photograph. It's more like a painting made of water, soft at the edges, colors bleeding together. Each time you remember, your brain recreates the scene. Not like pressing play, but like performing a dance from memory. Similar steps, but never quite the same. And in this repetition, memories change. They soften, they shift. They are edited by mood, by meaning, by the needs of the present. This is not a flaw. This is survival. Because your memory isn't here to archive everything. It's here to serve you, to help you move through the world. Make choices, feel safe. Even forgetting is part of the design. The brain lets go of what you no longer need. Old pathways fade, like footprints washed from the shore. And yet, some memories stay. Why? Perhaps it's emotion that seals them. Moments of wonder, fear, joy, your brain marks them with chemical ink. They glow slightly brighter in the dark. Or perhaps it's repetition. Each time you recall a memory, you reinforce it, like walking the same forest path until it becomes a trail. But not all memories feel like yours. Some feel like dreams. Others feel like stories you've told yourself for so long that you no longer question if they're real. Still, they build your sense of self. Your identity is not a solid thing. It is a string of memories braided together over time, a quiet narrative whispered by neurons that says, "This is who I am." And that whisper, that soft thread of selfhood, is time's voice inside you. Memory is what gives direction to time. It is why the past feels different from the future. You can remember what was, but you cannot remember what will be. This asymmetry is one of time's most mysterious features. It's called the arrow of time. You experience time as moving forward, but only because you can look back. Memory gives the past shape and the future silence. But what if your memories vanished? In amnesia, time becomes weightless. People describe feeling lost, like floating in a place without windows. Without memory, you are unmoored from narrative. You live only in moments, pure, directionless. There is peace in that, perhaps, but also fragility. Because, even though memory is flawed, it gives you a thread to hold, a way to know you are moving. And that movement is time. Even your dreams borrow from memory. Your sleeping mind wanders through old rooms, mixes faces, bends places, and though it feels like nonsense, your brain is sorting, storing, stitching the fabric of who you are. This is why dreams can feel timeless, because they are built on the raw material of memory. Without the rules of clocks or calendars, you carry memories in your body, too. Muscle memory, a song your fingers know without thinking. Emotional memory, the ache that returns at a familiar scent. Even trauma can live in the body long after the mind forgets. So you are not just a brain remembering, you are a being remembering. And sometimes the body remembers more than the mind is ready to know. But even when memories fade, you still change, you still grow. Time still moves through you, because memory is not the only storyteller. Your cells change, your voice deepens, your thoughts shift, and in those changes, a quieter memory lives, one that doesn't speak but still leaves marks. So tonight, as you lie in stillness, you can feel grateful, not for perfect memory, but for meaningful memory, the ones that stay, the ones that softened, the ones that hurt and taught and bloomed. Your past is not behind you. It is part of you, woven into the way you see, the way you dream, the way you love. But if memory is what shapes your sense of the past, what keeps time moving forward when everything else in physics seems to run both ways? Why can't you go back? Why does milk never unspill and broken glass never leap into your hand? Maybe the answer lives deeper still, in something less human, more universal. In the quiet, irreversible unfolding of everything, into something more uncertain. Let's follow that thread, let's follow the arrow. Why can't you walk back into yesterday? Why does milk never unspill and stars never return to clouds? This is the arrow of time, born from chaos, not clocks. Entropy whispers the future forward. And tonight, we listen. Imagine dropping a glass. It shatters. Pieces scatter across the floor, each one catching the light differently. You kneel to gather them, but the glass will never be whole again. Not exactly. Not as it was. This, you know. But why? Why is it that things fall apart, but never fall back together? Why does the past feel fixed while the future remains open? You've seen it again and again. Ice melting, stars burning, buildings aging, memories fading. Time, it seems, has a direction forward, always forward. This is the arrow of time. Not a line drawn by clocks, but by change itself. By the way the universe unfolds into greater disorder. Physicists call this entropy, a measure of randomness, of chaos, of how things drift from neatness to mess, from structure to spread. It's why perfume escapes the bottle, never returns. Why a cup of coffee cools down, never warms itself back up. Why eggs break, but do not unbreak. Entropy doesn't reverse. It climbs. And as it climbs, time flows. Not because the universe cares about your calendar, but because energy spreads, heat disperses, order dissolves. This may sound cold, but in it, there's something poetic. Time, as you feel it, is the quiet story of things unraveling. It's not clocks that give time, it's forward motion, it's change, the gentle and constant increase of disorder, the sandcastle softening back into sand. Even the universe itself obeys this flow. From the Big Bang, everything has expanded outward, from hot, dense simplicity to cooler, wider, more complex forms. Stars formed, then burned, then died. Their ashes became planets. Their stardust became you. And you, too, are moving through that same unfolding. From the order of a child's body to the subtle chaos of age. From the precision of a fresh idea to the dreamlike blur of a distant memory. Entropy is not destruction. It's transformation. It's the dance of becoming. And it leaves behind the trace we call time. This is why you remember the past, but not the future. Because memory is the mind's archive of order, and the future, by definition, is still unwritten chaos. You can't remember it. It hasn't formed yet. Even if all of time already exists, all moments laid out like pages in a book, you can only read them one way, because each moment contains more disorder than the one before, and your mind rides that current, always forward. But not all of physics agrees. In the deepest laws of nature, in the math that describes how particles behave, time has no preference. Run the equations backward, and they still make sense. In theory, the universe could run in reverse, but in practice, it doesn't. And the reason may be entropy, a single rule that gives time its unmistakable direction. Still, not everything ages at the same pace. A glacier moves slowly, but it still melts. A human life feels brief, but even in moments of stillness, you're unraveling gently, cells dividing, memories softening, dreams reshaping themselves. You feel time as movement. But entropy is the subtle reason why you feel it at all. It's the engine behind your story. The reason you cannot undo a word once spoken, cannot unfeel a feeling once felt. It's not cruel. It's simply the way the universe writes itself forward, and in that one-way flow, you find meaning. You treasure youth because it passes. You remember a moment because you cannot return to it. You love people because the future is uncertain, and the present is precious. Time is not the thief. It's the painter layering your life with texture, with imperfection, with motion, and though it always moves forward, you do not need to chase it. You are already carried. The glass breaks, the light fades, the star burns out, but from that fading, new forms rise. From entropy comes creation. So tonight, as you drift deeper into sleep, you might feel the slow unraveling within you, not as loss, but as life. A quiet surrender to the rhythm of time's arrow, always forward, always changing. But if time moves in one direction, what happens when you sleep? When your mind slips the rules, and you feel the past and the future fold into a single dream, what does time become when you no longer follow it? Let's follow that question into the next unfolding. The strange, timeless world of dreams. In dreams, time is liquid. You live lifetimes in seconds, or forget hours in a blink. What does dreaming reveal about your brain's map of time? Tonight, we drift into that secret space, where the mind forgets to tick. The world grows soft. Now, your body stills, your thoughts loosen, and then, without asking, without warning, you enter the drift. You begin to dream, and in dreams, time does not behave. You might live through a year in a moment. You might fall, fly, speak, forget, awaken all before your body even turns beneath the sheets. Time in dreams is not a straight line. It is a cloud, a tide, a spiral. Moments stretch, collapse, repeat. But if your body still lies in this bed, then where do you go? And who is keeping time while you wander? Inside your brain, there is no single clock. There are rhythms, neural waves rising and falling, chemical pulses preparing your journey inward. As you enter sleep, you pass through stages, like descending gently through layers of water. At first, light sleep, then deeper, until finally you reach the realm of dreams, REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Your eyes flicker beneath your lids. Your muscles go still, and your mind begins to write a story that feels like time, but is not made of it. In this world, there are no calendars, no clocks, no cause and effect you must obey. You might begin in your childhood kitchen, then open a door into a forest that never was. You might speak to someone long gone, hear a language you do not know, feel the weight of emotion with no source, and yet, it all feels real. For a moment, it is the only reality you know. That's because your dreaming brain is not trying to tell the truth, it is trying to make meaning. and meaning, for the dreaming mind does not need linear time. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain that helps you store and sequence memories, goes quiet during dreaming, and so your dreams are not bound by what happened when. They are stitched together by feeling, by association, by what your sleeping self still needs to understand. This is why dream time feels fluid, why it often doesn't match the time kept by clocks. You might dream for what feels like an hour in a window of mere minutes, or wake with the sense that you've traveled without ever knowing where. Time, in dreams, becomes a canvas. You are not following its rules, you are painting with them, and yet your body continues to measure time, even as your mind forgets it. Your circadian rhythm ticks on, keeping track of night and day. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your cells repair themselves. You remain in time, even as your awareness drifts outside it. So what purpose do these timeless dreams serve? Some say dreaming helps you heal, not just the body, but the self. Your brain replays fragments of memory, sorts what matters, softens what hurts. It rehearses possible futures, dismantles old fears, and remixes emotions into new shapes you can carry. And because dreams ignore time, they are free to move differently than waking life ever could. There you can meet your younger self. You can relive a moment, or rewrite it. You can visit futures that may never arrive, and still feel what they might mean. So much of dreaming is not about what happens, but how it feels. And that feeling, untethered from linear time, can be just as real as anything your eyes have ever seen. Even animals dream. Their limbs twitch, their eyes flutter. Dogs bark in sleep, rats replay maze paths, birds rehearse songs they haven't learned yet. Time, in dreams, is not gone, but reshaped, softened, freed. Perhaps the rules of waking life are too rigid to hold everything we are, and dreams are where we overflow. And yet, you always return, at some quiet moment before dawn, or just after your brain lifts from its dream state. You re-enter the present, the light shifts, the body stirs, and time, with its familiar rhythm, comes back to greet you. But something lingers, a fragment of that dream time, a softness, a mystery. And maybe that's the gift of it, to remind you that time is not just numbers and order, but feeling and perception. That sometimes, to understand time, you must forget how to measure it. Tonight, as you dream, your brain will play with the rules, float beyond cause and clock. And in that freedom, you might glimpse a truth your waking mind could never quite grasp. But when you wake again, when you feel the pull of light and gravity, time will resume its steady pace. And you may wonder, why does time feel so different at different speeds? Why does a moment of danger last forever, while a summer afternoon slips through your fingers? Could time stretch and bend as you move? Could your pace change the river itself? Next, we drift into that question and into the strange, beautiful science of time and speed. Time is not steady. It stretches, slows, and sways as you move faster through space. Einstein showed us speed can bend time's river. Tonight, we drift through this strange truth that clocks tick differently when we fly. Time is not rigid, it does not flow the same for all. And though your days feel steady, like beads on a string, beneath that calm, time bends. Imagine this. You sit still, a clock on your wrist, ticking 1 second at a time. Now imagine someone else, running, flying, circling the earth in a rocket. They wear a clock to. And when they return, you compare, your seconds don't quite match. Their clock ran slower. Not because it broke, but because it moved. This is not fantasy. It is one of the most tested truths in physics. And it begins with Einstein. He told us, time and space are woven together, a single fabric called space-time. And when you move faster, that fabric stretches. Time stretches. This is called time dilation. The faster you go, the more time slows for you compared to someone still. Aboard the International Space Station, astronauts orbit Earth at 17,000 miles per hour. Their clocks tick slightly slower than those on the ground, by mere milliseconds, but the difference is real. And it's not just speed. Gravity bends time, too. Clocks on mountain tops tick faster than those in valleys. Your phone's GPS system must correct for this, or you'd be lost by miles. Time is not absolute. It is personal. Relative. The faster you go, the heavier the gravity. The more time shifts. This sounds impossible, but it's true. Proven again and again. You, right now, experience a gentle version of this. Your head ages faster than your feet, just by standing up. Because gravity is weaker at the top of your body than at the bottom. It's a difference so small, you'll never feel it. But it's there, written in the math, recorded by atomic clocks. So time, then, is not the great equalizer. It is flexible, woven into motion. Think of time like a fabric. The faster you move, the more the fabric pulls. Stretch it far enough, and time begins to slow. Stretch it too far, and time may stop entirely. This idea gave birth to a thought experiment, the twin paradox. Two twins are born. One stays on Earth, the other boards a ship, traveling near the speed of light. Years pass. When the traveling twin returns, they are younger, not just in appearance, biologically younger, because, for them, less time passed. This isn't science fiction. It's rooted in real theory, and experiments with particles moving near light speed confirm it. Time dilates as motion increases. So, why don't you feel it in your daily life? Because you move slowly. So slowly, compared to the universe's limits, only near light speed do these effects become dramatic. Still, the truth is there, quiet and steady. Your experience of time depends on how you move, and yet you never feel it shift. Time still seems constant, like a clock's patient rhythm. But clocks are only markers. They cannot show you what time truly is. And maybe that's the secret. You are not just in time. You are part of it. Entangled with motion, with gravity, with memory. You move, and time listens. You rest, and time adjusts. So next time you run, or fly, or even breathe a little deeper, know that your body and time are quietly conversing. Tonight, as you sleep, your movement slows. You return to your rhythm, soft, resting, still. And in that stillness, your time returns to you. It syncs again with the ground beneath you. The clock's quiet. The world balances. But this question lingers like mist. If time can bend with speed, what happens when you approach the edge of speed itself? What waits at the place where time may stop entirely? Let's drift toward the edge of the light. Let's fall toward a black hole. What happens to time near a black hole? It slows, stretches, and, at the edge, seems to stop. Tonight, we drift toward gravity's most secret place, where light struggles and time forgets to move. This is not fiction. This is the universe's strange truth. Close your eyes. Now imagine something pulling, not your body, but time itself. Something so heavy, so dense, that even light cannot escape. This is a black hole, and near it, time begins to behave like a dream you can't wake from. You've heard of gravity, the force that keeps your feet on the floor, your body on the earth, the planets in their silent orbits. But near a black hole, gravity becomes something else. It is no longer gentle, it is no longer fair. It is hunger, folding space inward, bending time until it drips like honey from the rim of a spoon. Einstein predicted this, that gravity can stretch time, not just delay it, distort it, and black holes are the deepest wells of gravity we know. They are not holes, really. They are places where a star has collapsed so tightly, so violently, that it creates a shadow in spacetime itself, a region where the rules no longer apply. If you drift too close, you meet the event horizon, the point of no return. Cross it, and not even light can come back, but stay just outside it. And something stranger happens. Time, for you, slows. Not metaphorically, not poetically, but physically. If you could float there, just above the edge, your clock would tick, and an observer far away would see it tick more and more, slowly dot to them. Your movement would freeze. You would appear to hover, paused forever on the brink of falling in, but from your view, nothing changes. You fall, you pass through. Time still feels like time. That's the mystery. Perspective changes everything. Time, near a black hole, is not destroyed. It's warped, pulled like fabric, twisted into something unfamiliar. From Earth, an hour near a black hole might look like a year, or a decade, or more. It depends how close you are, how deep into gravity's mouth you've gone. This isn't science fiction. It's measured, confirmed. Even the satellite signals your GPS uses must account for gravity's time-stretching effects, or else you'd end up lost on your own street. In the film Interstellar, they visit a planet near a black hole. Every hour there costs them 7 years on Earth. A poetic exaggeration, but based on real math. Because time, like space, can bend. And black holes, they are the sharpest bend of all. They show us something deeply humbling, that time is not a river running through you. It is the shape of the universe curving around mass, curving around you. In that way, you are inside time, but also, time is inside you. Black holes remind us, the closer you move to certain truths, the more time stretches, softens, slips, and still, we've never seen inside a black hole. Only the outside, the event horizon, where time seems to pause forever. What happens past that edge? We don't know. Our math breaks down. Our knowledge folds in on itself, just like the space we're trying to understand. Some say time may end there. Others say it may loop. Some whisper of hidden dimensions, tunnels through space-time, or the seeds of new universes. But all we know for certain is that near a black hole, time is no longer the time you know. It is not linear, it is not fair, it is not guaranteed, is shaped not by your heartbeat, but by the pull of unseen forces. So tonight, as you lie still, know this: your body floats in a universe where time is not constant. You live in a cosmos where light can be slowed, and moments can stretch longer than memory. And yet, within that universe, you find rhythm, you find rest, you find your place in the flow, and maybe, in a way, you are already orbiting the mysteries of time, even as you sleep. But what happens when time itself may have a beginning? If time can stretch and bend, could it also be born? And if so, what came before it began? Let's drift now to the moment where time first opened its eyes to the first breath of the cosmos. What if time hasn't always existed? What if there was a moment before moments? Tonight, we float back, not into history, but into mystery, the beginning not of things, but of time itself. Imagine a beginning, not just of stars or space or matter, but of time itself, of the very flow you've been drifting through, minute after minute, dream after dream. Can time be born? You've always assumed time was there, like air, like water, like something that simply is. But physics tells another story. It whispers, there was a time when there was no time, no ticking clocks, no before, no after, only a silent, pregnant stillness, beyond imagining. And then something shifted. The universe began. Not just space expanding, but time unfolding, like the first drop of ink spilling into a blank page. This moment, the Big Bang, is not just the birth of stars and galaxies. It is the birth of duration, of rhythm, of causality, of the very possibility that one thing could follow another. Before, that we don't know. Because before might be a meaningless word when time itself doesn't yet exist. Your mind aches trying to picture it, and rightly so. You are a creature built inside time. Everything you know has a before and an after. Everything you feel moves forward. But time may have had a first heartbeat. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion in time. It was the creation of time, and that beginning was not a place you could visit, but a boundary you can only approach in thought. Even light can't take you there. Even gravity gets blurred in the haze of those first microseconds. And yet, science tries. With telescopes tuned to the faintest echoes, the cosmic microwave background, we listen to the afterglow of that first unfolding. That glow is ancient. Light, not from stars, but from time's infancy. It hums across the sky, faint and cold, a lullaby from a universe that had just begun to breathe. From it, we know this. In the beginning, time was not smooth. It was wild, fast, chaotic moments, blinked into being, barely lasting, before cooling into the flow you now feel. And as the universe expanded, so did time's rhythm. Slower, more steady, like a river finding its shape. Your heartbeat now is timed by that ancient rhythm. Your thoughts, your days, your memories, all unfolding in a stream that began in that quiet eruption. But what caused it? What came before? Here, the answers fall away, not because we've failed, but because the question itself may dissolve. Without time, there is no before, no sequence, no change, only something you are not equipped to see. A silence too deep for clocks. Some physicists imagine time might be emergent, that like waves on water, it rises from something deeper. A timeless sea beneath the world, you know. Others dream of cycles, universes collapsing and rebirthing, time ending, then beginning again. And others still speak of quantum foam, a jittering, flickering field of probabilities from which time, like a spark, arose. All of it is mystery, and yet you're part of it. Every breath you take has roots in that first flicker. Every star you see grew from a moment when time first opened its arms. So when you lie awake, wondering where it all began, know this: the beginning wasn't just matter, it was possibility. It was the first moment when next could follow now. Time did not arrive. It became, and inside that becoming, you arrived to. Now, here you are, in a body built by time, sleeping in a universe, still unfolding, and maybe, the question isn't what came before time, but what else might be shaping it now. Could time behave differently at the smallest scales? Might the quantum world hold time's deepest secrets? Let's close our eyes and fall gently inward into the trembling, uncertain world of quantum time. Beneath everything you see lies a world too small to touch, too strange to move in straight lines. Tonight, we listen to time as it trembles in quantum shadows, where cause blurs, and moments flicker like fireflies. You lie still now, but beneath your stillness, beneath your skin, your cells, your atoms, there is motion, a dance you do not feel. but that never stops. This is the quantum world. It is not like the world you know. Here, particles do not follow a single path. They flicker, shift, vanish, reappear. They are waves, they are points, they are questions with no single answer. And time, in this world, is a stranger. In your daily life, time feels like a gentle, steady river, but down here, that river shatters into mist. It no longer flows, it flickers. At the scale of electrons and photons, moments do not always follow one another. Cause and effect grow blurry. The future can seem to ripple backward, and outcomes remain uncertain until you look. Some scientists wonder, does time exist down here at all? Or is it something that only emerges when many particles come together, like a melody from single notes? Quantum physics tells us that particles can become entangled to specks of existence, sharing a state so deeply that a change in one affects the other instantly. No matter the distance between them, no message passes, no signal travels. And yet they know, it's as if they remember each other outside of time. This breaks your intuition. It whispers, time may not be fundamental. It may not sit beneath everything, as we once thought. Instead, time could be an illusion, a useful one, but a layer that fades when you zoom in far enough, like a painting that looks solid. Until you see it's made of brushstrokes. In the quantum world, particles don't evolve in time. They exist in superpositions, states that hold all possibilities at once. It is only when you observe, only when you measure, that one version becomes real. Before that, the system floats, not in time, but in potential. So what does that mean? For you, it means that, perhaps, your experience of time, past, present, future, is just one thread in a much larger fabric. It means that your memory of before and your dream of after might be tricks of scale, beautiful, necessary illusions to help you navigate a world that is, at its core, full of maybe, even your heartbeat, your thoughts, your breath, arise from interactions between quantum particles, and yet, you feel them in time. You live as if time is certain. Because it must be. For you to move, to grow, to love, you need the comfort of one moment following another. But, at the base of all, this order is a world of shimmering uncertainty. Some physicists believe that time might not even be a single thread, but many. That different particles might carry their own tiny timelines, out of sync with one another. Others suggest that time might loop, or branch, or echo, not in ways you can feel, but in ways the universe knows. There is even a thought experiment called the quantum time crystal, a structure that could, in theory, pulse in time without using energy, repeating endlessly in rhythm, a kind of time without change, or change without movement. This is not science fiction. These are real questions. Real ideas being tested, measured, dreamed, and still, you sleep. You do not feel the quantum flickers that build your brain. You do not see the shimmering lattice of maybe beneath your memories, but you live them. You are the music rising from a million silent notes. So tonight, as your mind drifts far from clocks and calendars, remember, beneath the rhythm of time, beneath even gravity's pull, there is a trembling hum, a quiet uncertainty where everything waits to become. And it is from that waiting that the world you know is born. But if time flickers at the smallest scales, what happens when we try to measure it? What kind of clock can keep time in a world that's always changing? Let's turn, gently now, toward the strange art of measuring moments, toward the clocks that tick inside atoms, and the ones that live inside you. How do we know what a second truly is? Not by heartbeats, not by the sun, but by the quiet ticking of atoms. Tonight, We listen to the clocks that shape our lives, from the pulse in your wrist to the cesium. Atom's silent rhythm. There is a clock on your wall, perhaps near your bed or ticking softly in the next room. It marks the seconds, one, then another still. But what is a second? You feel them pass, like droplets on your skin. But who decides their shape? Where does time's unit begin? Once, we watched the sun. The turning of earth made the day. Shadows moved. Light changed. The day became our clock. Then came the pendulum, a heavy weight swinging gently, keeping time through rhythm. Through gravity's lullaby. Later, quartz sang for us, vibrating silently, electrically. And then, atoms. The clocks we now trust most do not tick, do not chime. They hum in invisibly steady rhythms, deep inside machines. Atomic clocks. They measure time by counting the oscillations of atoms, specifically cesium, each second. 9,192,631,770 cycles of microwave energy emitted by a cesium atom transitioning between states. Why so many? Because that rhythm is perfect, predictable, not swayed by wind or weather, not tired, not late. These clocks are so precise that they would not lose a second in millions of years. And from them, we carve out your seconds, your minutes, your hours. GPS satellites carry these clocks, whispering time down to earth. Without them, your phone would not know where you are. Your world would lose its sync. But those are only the outer clocks. There are others, quieter, closer. Your body keeps time. Your circadian rhythm is a hidden sun, rising and falling within you. A biological day, roughly 24 hours long. Even in perfect darkness, it lives in your brain. In the nucleus, a tiny bundle of neurons above the roof of your mouth. It listens to light, to habit, to the rise and fall of hormones. It tells your body when to sleep, when to wake, when to heal. And even when you cross time zones, even when the sky lies, this clock gently adjusts, slowly finding its place again. There are shorter rhythms too. Ultradian rhythms, cycles inside your sleep, inside your hunger, your alertness, and longer ones, like the lunar pull on your mood, or the seasonal shifts in your energy. All these rhythms beat inside you, without your asking. You are full of clocks, not the kind that ticked, but the kind that flow. Pulses, patterns, processes. You are a timekeeper without knowing it. Even your memories are shaped by these rhythms. You remember best what fits into the body's internal beat. Moments that align with emotion, with repetition, with timing. And yet, despite all these clocks, you never feel a second pass. You feel change. You feel movement. You feel the weight of a long day, or the blink of a short one. But time itself, you cannot hold it, only mark it, with machines and pulses, with breath and calendars. So tonight, as the world turns outside your window, your body is still keeping time. Your heartbeat slows, your breath deepens, your temperature dips. You fall into rhythm. You are sinking, once again, with the great quiet clock you've always carried. But even the best clocks can only measure, not explain. A second tells you how long something takes, but not why it feels fast, or slow, or endless. So we ask, is there such a thing as time without a clock? Does time exist when no one is counting? Let's close this moment gently, and open the next, a final dream, where we ask the oldest question of all, what is time when all the counting stops? What if time is not real, but something we feel? A story your brain tells itself to make sense of change. Tonight, we rest inside that question, not to answer it, but to float gently within its wonder. You followed time across the sky, felt it bend with speed, pause near black holes, tremble beneath atoms, and tick gently in your chest. But now we ask the question we've been circling all along. What if time isn't real? Not in the way you think. Not a thing you could hold, or find, or drop, but something softer, stranger, closer. What if time is the mind's mirror, a story your brain tells to organize change? You see the world unfold. A leaf falls, a shadow lengthens, a face grows older, and your brain knits those changes into a thread. It names it past, it guesses a future, and it walks that thread like a tightrope in the dark. But is the thread real, or just useful? In the deepest laws of physics, time doesn't always appear. The equations that govern the universe's smallest pieces don't insist on a direction. They don't say this came first. They simply exist. A particle is here, then they're not, because time pushes it, but because probability allows it. So maybe time is not a force, but a feeling. A rhythm that arises when conscious minds observe change. You, your body, your breath, you give time its shape. You live inside time, but you also dream it, bend it, stretch it, hold it close in memory and meaning. You remember a moment from childhood and it rushes back like water, as if no time passed at all. You sit through a difficult hour, and it crawls like a stone down a hill. And in dreams, time disappears entirely, or dances, and yet you still wake. You still count your days, because, illusion or not, time feels real, and that feeling shapes everything. You grow, you lose, you love, because you know things won't stay. Because time makes every moment a little more precious. So perhaps the illusion is not false. Perhaps it is sacred. A kind of kindness woven into your awareness, the way the sky tells you the sun is moving. Even when it's the earth that spins. The illusion of time lets you write a story, and in that story, you become someone. You become you, a being who wakes, and sleeps, and remembers, who looks at the stars and wonders how long they've burned. A being who ages, not just in years, but in understanding. And maybe that's all time needs to be. Not a thing, but a way of feeling the motion of the universe through your soul. So as this story ends, and your thoughts grow quiet, know that time hasn't stopped, it's just slowed, softened, like waves after a storm, and maybe, as you fall asleep, you'll feel the edges blur. Between now and then, between before and after, between what is real and what is only imagined. Because time, in the end, is both. It is the physics of the stars and the poetry of your breath. It is the thing you measure, and the dream you drift inside. And tonight, as you rest, you are still dreaming in time. Or perhaps, time is dreaming through you. So sleep, dear traveler. The illusion will hold you gently until morning. Until the next story begins. End of story time, the illusion we keep dreaming. Inside a bedtime journey by the Dream Lab.